Hi everybody, welcome again to another episode of Fish Keeping Jamaica. Welcome to my channel. Today I try using a different device. I hope that the quality is much better than previous weeks in which I have been using. Today I'll be looking at a topic that to some persons it might be a little sensitive. So we will actually be delving deep, and it's hope that you will appreciate this stream. The lighting is not that bright, but I think the pixels, I think the quality of the stream is a little bit better. So let's see how that one works out. All right. Okay. So today we talk about the whole idea of of using steroids. Fish and steroids. What's all that? And I really deep. Chances are I might end up go over the 60 minutes. Give me a sec. I'm just preparing. I'm just preparing. Hey, what about Ranjay? Nice film, boss. All the quality better than before, right? Yes, boss. Pick up yourself. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. All right, cool. So we're talking about steroids right now. I did a video, I think it's a couple weeks ago. We are talking about feeding my pond fish, to be specific, my tilapia stock of fish, chicken feed, and I think some persons, yeah. Bless up yourself, boss. Not try a thing. All right, good. So I did a stream, not a stream, a video, I did a video a few months ago, should I say, a few months ago, where I looked at, feeding my tilapia fish, chicken feed, right? And the chicken feed, as you all know, chickens actually are fed special feed, which allows them to grow, very fast, and very fat, and beefy. Persons kind of like that type of food. Hey, I've been to New York, I've been to the States, and I've actually had, well, I don't consume meat, chicken, right? But I've actually seen persons actually have chicken meals that the leg itself is like really huge compared to that of, let's say, a Jamaican chicken, right? But anyway, that's for a different show. Hey, boss. Thank you. Respect. All right, good. I'm trying to make it a little bit more better than before. Before I was using my laptop, my son and my daughter laughed at me saying that the quality is poor. The content is good, but the quality is poor. So I am trying to use my phone today. Hopefully it works out very well for me. Our man Cypress, bless up yourself, my boss. Thank you for stopping in. Today we're looking at fish and steroids. In preparation for this video, right? In preparation for this video, I discover a few things. One, I discover that the fish themselves have steroids within them, right? But I'm coming down to that, in which we can actually share a little bit more on that. All right, so let's dig into today's share primary. So I'm kind of new to the whole idea of using my phone, so sorry if I am like going like every minute I'm touching, because I'm just used to my laptop in which I will just actually talk. So we're talking about fish and steroids. Now, according to research, right, within the aquarium trade, you have fish and steroids. Now, when I did the video using chicken feed to feed my actual, let me show you something. To feed my actual tilapia fish, someone said to me that that is so wrong, that they have been in the tilapia fish breeding for a very long time and they have never seen this, right? So another person said to me that I am hurting the fish industry by actually doing stuff like that, and that what I'm saying is not true. All right, so I went to the agriculture, the farm store in Jamaica, right? And I bought my normal car seat. You know, retail, we buy it like this. To buy it in the large pack that probably you might be buying it in with a fancy name. That's not me. I buy it like this because I have a lot of fish, right? Okay, I told them that I wanted some tilapia fish food. Now, if you look back at that video that I did a few weeks ago, I'm going to put the link to that video in the description when I'm finished with this share, right? Now, if you look at the link, you will notice that this food, this type of food, this is tilapia fish food, right? The only difference with it, it has the same weight as a chicken feed, right? And it has the same texture as the chicken feed, but the only thing different with it is that it has more corn in it than the chicken feed, right? Now this also have corn in it, right? But it doesn't have as much as the chicken feed does. Also, what it has is what you call steroids, and I'm going to go into that a little bit in more detail later on as I share to the reason why steroids are actually used in cultivating fish stock, right? And persons might say, oh, that's for fish that you purchase like tilapia fish food. You know, our aquarium fish don't really use that. Well, I have a story to tell you that that's not necessarily so. Okay, so we live in a world where it's competition is the aim of the game, right? And competition dictates that you want your aquarium fish or you want your fish stock to look the best, right? To attract the best price, to be able to reproduce, and you want to limit competition. The use of steroids in what the what do you call it now? The aquarium fish trade and the food feeding fish that is used for protein, like tilapia. You know, tilapia is used for, you know, supplying protein. It's steroids are actually used, right? I might seem as if I'm going all over the place, but you will see the direction in which I'm actually trying to point you in. Now, steroids are at the hey, what boss? Okay, let's look at what I don't have on my glasses. You know, I'm getting old, so I'm using my phone when it normally pops up. So I'm going to be using my white phone so as to read the text. All right. So pardon me, but you know I'm getting old. All right. So the difference says, yeah. Indeed. Now, steroids are used for several different reasons, right? Hey, big up yourself. Yeah, man. Steroids used in aquarium, you know, breeding aquarium fish, and steroids used in actually keeping and breeding fish that we actually consume. That comes from the fish farm, right? Okay. Let's dive a little bit more. Now, what happened, right? Is that all right? Let's look at the fish farm first. Now, steroids are added to fish farm, like tilapia fish farm, right? Right, as well as antibiotic, right? Okay, that's true. Yes, right. Steroids are added to the fish on the fish farm, right? The steroids does two things. One, they get the fish fat and rosy and looking nice and fleshy for the market, and two, it actually decrease the production of female fish stock. Now, I don't know the exact reason, but male tilapias are preferred than female tilapias within the fish farming industry, right? Yes, you say right. That's true. That's true lunatic fringe, right? Many fish farmers within the ornamental fish keeping trade, they use steroids, and we're gonna come to that in a bit. But let me just finish up with the farming thing. Right now, what they do, they supply the fish pond, you know, like they want to provide this great opportunity in which persons can actually get protein. No, because throughout the world you have some persons that they have minimal amount of protein supply. I think I spoke about this in a few weeks ago, if not last week. We talk about some persons they're actually exactly thought to reality. Males tend to grow feet bigger and thicker, so therefore they are more preferred, right? Also thoughts to reality. Male, whenever you have more males, that means the probability of persons actually getting two of the fish from the farm to start a fish farm, chances are they will get two males. So therefore it restricts the whole idea as to who and who actually, should I say, the persons, let me speak in English language, it restricts the amount of individuals who actually goes within the business, thus limiting the market share, limiting not the market share, limiting the breeding stock for these fish out there, right? Okay. Let me see. Okay, boss. Good, good. I'm trying to read what Lunatic Finch says. Yes, indeed, and because indeed, tilapia fish farming, and that's one of the reasons why I am actually coming out swinging at this. Somebody actually sent me a message saying that I am actually hurting the industry when I talk about using chicken feed. The only thing different with the chicken feed and the tilapia fish food is that you have more corn in the chicken feed because this is tilapia fish food, right? It's much heavier in texture than the koi stick, right? So it falls to the base of the pond, and the fish will actually gravitate down there for it. But normally, if the fish are large, they will actually catch it and swallow it, and they don't care about the texture, and they grow very fast, very fleshy, and they get sold as fish fillet. So when you go to some fast food chains, I'm not going to call any names, lest persons text me and tell me that I am going to be sued. But some lucrative fast food companies actually use fish farm products, should I say, fish that is farmed in ponds, right? The fillet, right? To actually, what you call it now, have their their burgers. So we have like fish burgers, fish fillet. All of this is coming from fish farm that have been, the fish have been fed special food so that they can get thick muscles, and we eat them and we consume them as, nice fish fillet or burger sandwich stuff like that, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that, my brother. I'm coming to that. Now, as I talk about, the tilapia fish farms. Now, tilapia fish farms, they are so lace. Okay, JK, cool. Tilapia fish farm, they use so much steroids within the fish space, that the fish actually consume the food, they poop out the waste, and the waste contains steroids. The steroids, during the water change and thing, the water is actually channeled down. Sometimes it ends up back into the river in the mainstream, because most fish farms are situated in areas where in which water actually runs through the property. Now, as a result, yes, that's true. But what they say, Lunatic Fringe, is that it's much slower when you actually spend the time to feed the fish the normal fish food without the steroids. Now, within a few weeks, you are able to get a full-grown chicken, a 10-pound chicken, right? Because you feed them special design food. Same too with tilapia. Within a few weeks, if not months, right? You end up have a 10-pound, 9-pound tilapia fish that is sold, and you know the turnover is so great that the farm can actually expand, hire more persons, the government get more taxes, persons get more profit, and you find that they, you know, everybody is, you know, smiling from ear to ear because they are making some crazy money, right? Okay, so in looking at this, what happens is that when the fish actually poop, right? Now the poop actually wash down into the mainstream where it's for example in Jamaica have a lot of rivers, right? In one parish alone, you have probably about 12 rivers, right? And all the rivers actually congregate, or should I say combine together, and it actually enters into the sea, right? And all these steroids end up into the sea. Now when humans go to the beach or go to the river to have a bath, right? This GMO food, this GMO, well, this steroids type, you know, thing that exists within the water is actually ingested by the human, and it affects their sterility. It affects their kidneys. It affects their organs, but it affects them so slowly that it is not really attributed to the steroids that is being used on a tilapia fish farm that is located some 15 to 20 miles inshore, you know, because the river in which you be probably might be like 15 to 20 miles distant from the fish farm itself. So as a result of that, no acute they call it now sanction is actually levied against companies that actually have fish farm that exists you know, nearby, ensuring that they strategize as to how to actually manage their fish stock and to manage the whole idea of using steroids in actually keeping their fish. I have not yet gone to ornamental fish keeping, right? It's significant, and that's the reason, that's the primary reason why I'm here tonight. But I have to point out that yes, tilapia fish farmers do feed their fish specially designed fish food so as to get them to grow exponentially fast, very quickly, very fleshy, and that they have a type of process where which they actually practice the whole idea of feeding their fish a particular steroid. And I did a video on this a few weeks ago, feeding a fish a particular steroid that sometimes actually changes the sex. Yes, changes the sex of the tilapia fish or whatever fish is farmed from female to male. As someone pointed out before, right? This actually encourages the fish stock to be a little bit more, I call it, it's more nutritious. All right, it's a little bit more nutritious. All right, I am trying to. Okay, I'm trying to read what is being said because I don't have my glasses, right? Well, you see, the funny thing about it in a lunatic French is that we all watch sports, and we hear that fish, well, we hear that persons use steroids so as to run faster, to swim faster, to practice in their sporting activity, you know, and to become at the end of the game. Did you know that the fish within itself produces what you call omega-3, and omega-3 along with some other stuff that is found within omega-3 and the fish itself is also found in several steroids that are used by athletes so as to cheat the system, right? Yes, so steroids, fish actually has steroids within it, right? Within the fat within the fish, you find steroids, right? And persons actually use these steroids as to manufacture steroids that are sold on the market, so that persons can actually cheat the system. All right. Okay. I have, as I said before, I have received comments that talks about the whole idea of tilapia fish food actually well being replaced by what you call chicken food. That is primarily just to, yeah, everybody will use it. Yes, steroid. And this steroid, my friend, is actually some of the ingredients come from fish itself, right? So the fish has steroids within its fatty cells, and the farmer give the fish steroids. So what you find is that the fish is really packed with these hormones, right? And as a result, it is said that some fish farmers they practice using hormones so as to get one sex more than the other. As pointed out before, male tilapia fish is more preferred by fish farmers because they grow much bigger and they have more meat or more muscles on them, thus they fetch more price, right? No, so therefore, as a result, getting a female tilapia fish from a farm, that might be a rarity. They might just use them to breed and that's it, because they are much smaller, right? I did a video a few months ago where I shared with you that I went to the back end of a fish farm. You know, you have an overflow where when the rain falls and it reaches a certain level, the ponds overflow and the fries from the pond actually flows into a stream, into a river, and go into a big, well, into a stream, into a larger stream, and into a big river, right? And I caught 5, and as a result of that experience, I ended up having several fish, tilapia fish, probably about 6 or 7 dozen right now. And in a few weeks' time, I'll be actually consuming one of these tilapia fish because it's really getting large, right? So I've been doing a video with me actually consuming that tilapia fish. It's healthy, it's growing well, nice, pretty fish, but it's just time to get eaten, right? Yes, exactly, my brother, exactly. But hold a little bit, you know, depends. There's some fun part about the whole idea of ornamental fish and steroid. I don't get there yet. Listen me now. Now, as I said before, the production of the fish stock is of vital importance to the fish farmer. He wants to ensure that 1, he has big fish within his stock. 2, his stock can breed. 3, he can outrun the competition. And 4, the fish stock can actually grow fast very quickly. Now, as a result of that, fish are actually fed steroids. And steroids in the form of hormone, you know, feeding them with special hormone, right? And as I said before, this actually increases the rate in which tilapia fish on tilapia fish farms are actually reversing their sex. I did a video on that, so you can check out that, where I actually ran through an entire research, and I actually, after I read it, I actually shared what I got from that research. The whole idea of fish lability, right, where fish actually change their sex using steroids, hormones, that serves the fish farmer as an advantage. Now, whether I like this or no, steroids have a part to play. Big up yourself, Mr. Williams. Big up yourself. Yeah. Thank you for joining my stream, my boss. Right? I myself and my family had decided a few years ago not to consume freshwater fish because of the fact that I discovered that they were using special fish food so as to get them growing large very quickly. And you know, it was just heartrending actually reading the information that I've actually gotten based on the whole, you know, breeding fish and keeping fish thing. So I've actually placed that off my plate about 5 to 10 years ago. I stopped consuming that type of fish, right? Okay, now like it or not, however, tilapia fish as food have actually aided the whole, you know, prevention of starvation for several countries throughout the world as a result of the breeding and the keeping and the trading of tilapia fish on farms. A lot of countries have actually staved off the whole idea of starving, right? Because several fish stock that person normally catch off the coast where they are at, they have been depleted as a result of invasive fish species, you know, fish from different walks of life coming into new waters, actually consuming the fish eggs, consuming the fish fry, even consuming the fish themselves, right? For example, in the Caribbean, we now have a problem, at least they say that we have a problem. I don't know if there's still a problem with lionfish. Lionfish leaving the shores of Florida, California, coming into the Caribbean, and they are actually consuming fish that exist amongst, or I call it coral reefs. You see my phone kind of drop, so I kind of try ease it up a little bit. Sorry about that. So we can fix it. All right. Hopefully everything good now. All right. Cool. All right. So aquarium at the back. We're good again. All right. So the fish farming, you know, as a lucrative business is something that is practiced heavily here in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, Africa, Central America, Asia, and South America, right? The whole idea of introducing new fish species within the different region have actually resulted in several fish species becoming depleted. As a result, persons no longer have the, you know, the lucrative, what I call it now, business of catching saltwater fish for food. Now they have to depend solely on pond fish keeping so as to supply their country, their region, the cities, the town, the communities, the villages with a source of protein, right? So they normally use, you can't knock them for that, right? But the whole idea of feeding them steroids so as to get, you know, get big, husky, you know, provide all that meat, I totally disagree with that, right? And it's a source of food at one point, yes, and it's a source of income. So, you know, you have to balance as to which is, you know, and as I said before, once you feed the fish steroids, it's not like I said the fish consume the food and the steroids, that's the end of the game. The steroids actually goes through the fish system into the poop, it lets out into the water is released, right? This steroid continues into the water space, and persons go to the river, they bathe, and that steroid go into their system and it affects their health. So you find that persons, oh, I'm going to little local, nice seeing him, boss, big up yourself, yeah. So they actually see themselves, persons actually getting sick, but they're not getting sick immediately. It's like several years of being in the lake, right? Several years being in the pond, several years being in the lagoon, right? You know, when they're drinking water, and the water, you know, goes down the throat, all that. Those steroids, those extra hormones going into your body, it messes up with the kidney, your lungs, all those systems within you. So after a while, you find that you have some autoimmune disease, you have issues, you know, you have sterility issues, you know, male aren't able to actually, you know, the semen count low, you know, all these are actually coming from, because remember, you know, steroids are fed to the fish so as to get them growing And most steroids have the side effect of sterility. So with this, pick up yourself, my boss. Yeah. Little loco, pick up yourself, my boss. Respect. Thank you for joining. All right. So a lot of persons don't really look at that side effect. They just want to know that they get the money and that's it. And they're okay, right? Yeah, 100%, my boss. 100%. There. Not try to use my phone to do my live stream. Usually I use my my laptop, but you know, I'm switching it around. I think the quality here is a little bit better using my phone. So you know, I have to try as best as possible. It's kind of easier using my mouse on the laptop. You know, I can click here. I can, you know, do all that. But you know, they say, which is my kids and my wife, they say that the quality is much better. So I am sticking with my phone. All right. So a lot of persons say that they won't consume tilapia fish food. Well, they won't consume tilapia which has been fed fish food, special fish food like this, right? I'm not hesitating in showing. This is 2 pounds of tilapia fish food, right? I am presently feeding my tilapia fish stock outside with this, right, to see the difference in growth. All right, it's not something that I practice, so hopefully by the time I'm ready to eat that fish in the pond outside, all those steroids will be out of its system, right? It have a few months before I actually do that little piece. All right, so another person said that they won't consume tilapia fish as food, but in a sense, they are like playing hypocrite, because they go to the pharmacy and they buy the little tablets that you call omega-3, and several of these fish that are bred on farms, they are actually used to actually extract, well, person specialists, they extract the fat from the tilapia or from the farm fish as you know, an ingredient for the little pills that you take, that they call it omega-3 or fish oil. And these fish oil supplements, they practically laced with steroids or hormones that was initially fed to the tilapia when they were in the pond consuming food, right? And they have been harvested. So you know, hey, let me tell you this. Fish farmers do not like to waste any money, none at all, right? So, in Jamaica, I'm speaking about Jamaica, I don't know about you where you're at. In Jamaica, they have this thing they call fish back. You might ask me, what is fish back? Okay, so when they're actually filleting the fish, right, they will take the sharp knife and they will actually take off the sides of the fish. So they take off one side and they take off another side, and then they take off the skin. The skin is used to process, and you get what you call omega-3, right? Then they actually package the bone that is left, that's the head and the top part of the fish and the bottom part of the fish with the tail, and they package that, right? That is either grind up and processed, and you get what you call koi stick. So even koi stick has some elements of, I call it, hormones in it, right? So when you actually buy a koi stick or you buy a special fish food, it has some fish cuttings in it, right? In Jamaica, quote unquote, poor people, they go to the fish shop or they go to the meat shop and they buy the fish that is left from the fillet. That means the head and the little pieces at the head and the tail, because some of these fish are huge. So what is at the top, what is at the head, you might find a little meat here and there. And these people will actually process that, season it up, and they will cook what they call fish tea, fish soup. And this fish soup is actually sold on the street as, you know, as an energy booster, like a Friday night. People coming home, they don't want to cook. Yeah, Friday night, Saturday night, and sometimes like the night holiday, persons actually boil soup, and they use this to flavor the soup. So as I said before, fish farmers don't like to waste any money. So they sell the fish head, they sell the fish tail, and they sell the fish the top and the bottom. I'm not gonna even embarrass myself trying to name what the top is called, right? So persons actually consume that, but at the same time they say that they will not consume tilapia. They won't go to the shop and purchase 3 pound or 4 pound or 10 pound of tilapia, because they will say that tilapia is fed on hormones and those things are not good for your body. But at the same time, they use the same oil coming from these fish to actually take within their bodies, because they claim that they are vegans, right? And they do not eat meat, neither fish, nor chicken, nor beef, but they consume omega-3. Omega-3 actually come from fish, right? But anyway, that's a different story, right? So these are some of the stuff in which I look at. Now, let's look at, I think Lunatic Fringe was actually alluding to it. The whole idea of, you know, fish being fed, ornamental fish being fed steroids. Now, I know when I trade my fish with a particular fish store, pet shop, I hardly go there anymore for reasons more than one, right? But I got to understand that certain persons trading fish at certain pet shop, right? They would actually feed the fries with certain hormones, which actually get their allows the fries, the baby fish, baby fish after fish procreate. So the baby fish will be sterile. And the reason why they want sterile fries is that they want to be the only one to actually be able to trade that fish species. So as a result, certain hormones are fed to the fish, or should I say, it's actually added to the water, which makes it a little bit impossible for you to actually consume. I'm just at the tilapia thing. For you to actually breed these fish within your system. So let's say that I get a few blue dolphins, right? Now these blue dolphins, chances are it might take me beyond the prescribed time at the right size for them to breed. It might take me probably 2-3 years getting them to breed. And the reason for that is that they have fed these fish with so much steroids that throughout that period of time, I have to be doing a multiple water change, right? And I have to be regimentally feeding these fish pure fish food, original fish food, so as to get the immune system up and running again, and for them to extricate the steroids that might exist within their system. So it actually being flushed out of their system, right? Yeah, some fish farmers in Jamaica, some ornamental fish farmers in Jamaica actually do that. Now, as somebody pointed out before, right, some fish farmers actually use steroids so as to should I say special hormones in their fish, feeding their fish, so as to ensure that the fish have certain colors, right? So you have certain fish having certain colors. It's because they have been fed particular fish food that enhances their color, 1, 2, enhances their growth, right? So you have a huge fish in a short period of time. No, for example, let's say that you have some Oscars, and you're into the breeding and the Oscar business, right? The Oscar fish cichlid, you're breeding. So what you do is that when the Oscar actually lay the eggs, you remove the male and the female, you remove the parents, and for the fries that are swimming, you would add some hormone or some steroids in that water, which actually multiply the growth. You know that Oscar grows 1 inch per month. So when you add those steroids too, and I'm not going to be telling you what steroids, I don't want you to try this. This is not something that I promote. I detest it. I do not like it, right? So they add steroids to the water. Hey, boss, nice seeing you. Respect, thank you for joining. We're talking about fish and steroids. We're talking about the whole idea that some fish farmers, whether it be fish that is farmed for for the protein for consumption, or fish that is farmed for ornamental fish keeping purposes, are actually fed steroids for several reasons, right? So chemicals are actually given to these fish so as to ensure that the fish have nice colors, grows very fast, and also ensure that the fish within itself don't reproduce, right? And some person might be saying that's cruelty. That's cruelty, right? You see, in the ornamental fish keeping industry, there's a lot of competition, just like in YouTube, right? In YouTube world, you have persons who might say that they are your friends, right? I love this guy Thirsty Rabbit. We are coming from very far, whether or not you might see me doing a collab with him recently, yes or no. He's like one of my best buds on YouTube in fish keeping land, right? He has shared me a lot of wisdom, right? But you have some persons on YouTube that they will friend you, and the only reason why they friend you, right, is that the only reason why they friend you is because they do not like certain persons that you associate with. And because they don't like certain people that you associate with, they friend you, and it's like they strike a deal with you, say, listen, I will help you to build your channel, but the only way you get my help is if you do not communicate or associate yourself with certain people that you normally do. And some persons jump to it. I have had friends who have actually been associated with me, but for some reason they have opted to be associated with other individuals, and detesting, how should I say, not really having that bond anymore as to being friends, sharing ideas and all that, right? But I like the fact that Thirsty Rabbit, thanks to you, is an awesome individual. He's very true to heart as far as fish keeping is concerned, as far as keeping it real, positive, and he's just a really awesome dude, right? Little Local for Fish also is a very awesome individual. I spend the time to say I appreciate you, my brother. You have very you have been very so instrumental in me looking forward, for better days. There are times in which you have encouraged me in the texts, in the messages that you're sending. Okay, going back on topic, right? I cannot go off, but I had to say, because when I see my friends, I have to big them up. Not to say that those persons here before are not my friends. You are my friends. You are my awesome friends. You are my audience. You are my viewers, in which I respect, I love very much, and I appreciate you for being here, right? But you should understand that me and these guys actually go way back, before 1K subs, before the whole idea of monetization, before persons know about fish keeping Jamaica. We have been there through thick and thin. All right, so we talk about the whole idea of sexual ability. Persons actually feed their fish hormone laced food so as to change the sex of the fish that they have, right? Yes, my boss. Yes, my boss. You're a true friend. You're a true friend, right? All right. So steroid. You see my phone. I like my phone kind of limits me in actually moving up and down and all that. But anyway, I think it's doing me justice as far as the stream is concerned. All right. Big up yourself, my boss. Yeah. All right. So we're talking about the whole idea of steroids, right? Some male fish are more beautiful than females. Whether or not you like it, yes or no, some male fish are more beautiful than female. As a result, more monies are earned from their sale. So as a result, what happened is that some persons they actually use specially designed hormone steroid treatment so as to facilitate the changing of cichlids, yes, the changing of cichlids and other fish species from male to female, right? And this have raked in hundreds of bucks, thousands of bucks for several persons. No, in some cases, right, breeders may have spent thousands of dollars to set up aquarium, right? To actually get a particular trait of fish within the aquarium space. And you probably might agree with them in the sense that you know, they're trying to prevent persons from actually breeding their design. You know, they might work in labs and they might say, okay, I'm going to cross this fish with that fish to get that. However, to do that, I will probably need to feed the fish an extra hormone supplement, which in fact is a steroid, so as to get that fish to come to a specific type of fish. Now, this is how hormone actually. Yes, my boss. That's so true. I am yet, Ron J. I am yet to see any giant nanos within my pet store in which I actually attend. Should I say I visit, right? So it all has to do with hormones, steroids, crossbreeding, and it takes time and effort. So persons, why you can't copyright breeding fish species, right? So what they do, they limit the whole idea of availability of both sexes within the same region, thus limiting the production of these fish. Thus, as a result of that, what you find is that these fish are really expensive, because a lot of science have actually been placed, you know, focus on breeding, or should I say, grouping specific type of fish together. Several cichlids which exist in the aquarium world today it does not exist within the wild, right? However, I think I spoke about this a few weeks ago. Within the wild, you have fish actually crossbreeding, right? But the occurrence of this is not really fully known by scientists nor researchers. Thus, I will not say that X fish and Y fish came together to get X and Y fish, right? I just leave it at that to say, in nature, you know, the natural systems, you do have crossbreeding taking place, right? But the extent of which exists is not really known, right? Okay, so there are hybrids and there are hybrids. There are hybrids by humans and there are hybrids by nature. Well, for me, those are not agreements. I try to say argument. I should say a good movement, good decision for actually using hormones, steroids, to actually ensure that your fish is at a particular level. Yeah. You see, I would go the scientific route, lunatic fish, but it's because I'm not good with the pronunciation of this. The estrogen thingy. I want next one. I'm not sure the androgen, right? So they use this. They actually pump these hormones laden with these, so as to ensure that the sex actually change to the direction in which they want it. So as a result, you find like a full mutation from female to male, right? And as I said before, when talking about the tilapia cichlid, right? This is something that is evident, right? So they do feed tilapia fish with special designed food so that they can become food on your plate, well, on the plate of persons who actually consume them in a short period of time, right? Right now, I have about probably 8,000 tilapia fish, probably about between 1 inch and roughly about 3 inches in my ponds. And I have a huge one probably about 7 inches in my pond. I am planning to cook him in a few weeks time. Now, let's remember the fact that those persons claiming to be vegetarians, right? You have persons claiming to be vegetarians, and they say that this is one of the reasons why they do not consume chicken, because chicken, they have specially designed food. Even a cow, even a turkey, even a duck, even the fish that actually swim in the water, they have special designed food for them so that they can grow fleshy and nice and they full their tummy, right? So you have persons say that I will stick to my vegetarian food. I will stick to my lettuce, my pop chow, my tomato, and all that. All right. This is the thing I have with that now. You have what you call GMOs, right? Genetic modified, right? Genetic modified food. I don't know if I'm actually saying that right, right? And with those food, like the seeds that you actually buy, genetic modified, you don't know that they are genetic modified. So when you plant the corn and you plant the tomato, the seed that come from these genetic modified plant fruit items, right? You can't use them and plant again, you know, right? It's not like the natural one, like for example, when my cherry tree actually bears and I consume the cherry, or I blend the cherry, or whatever I do with cherry, right? I can actually plant the cherry seed and a cherry tree actually comes up, right? With GMO, that's not so. For those persons say that they are vegetarian, now listen to the thing now. And you might say that why is it that I'm actually bringing out this? Oh, listen, persons hit out us and say that they do not eat tilapia fish food, like myself, right? They hit out and say that they don't eat tilapia fish food because they are laced with hormones, they are laced with steroids, and the steroids encourage infertility. It encourages liver problem, right? Hormones, right? It encourages the whole idea of cancer, kidney problems, all different ailments within your intestines, right? Now you have what you call fertilizer and pesticides. I'm not even going to the direction of the GMO, right? We're talking about fertilizer and pesticides. Now, a lot of farmers, I don't know where you live, but I'm talking about in Jamaica. Now, where farmers normally farm are located near rivers. And the reason why they locate near rivers is because rivers supply them with the amount of water that they need so as to nutrify, or should I say, yeah, facilitate the plant growth, right? So heavy rainfall, you know that I live in the Caribbean, and probably we know far where you are at. Probably you buy special water to plant your crops. Probably you don't use fertilizer because you are all vegans and you are actually used in what you call it now, the special type of seeds or whatever. Anyway, that's a bunch of a bull anyway, because somewhere somehow you're going to consume some amount of GMO food, and you're going to consume some amount of food that was laced with pesticide and fertilizer. But that's neither here nor there right now. The thing is, the farmers plant the crop on hill slopes, slope hill. So they plant the crops on the hill, right? And rainfall, and the rain washes. While you do terracing and contour plowing, and do special design so as to ensure that the crops don't wash down the hill. However, the rainfall still fall, right? And it actually takes with it some remnants of the fertilizer and the pesticides down the hill slopes. Now, this water actually is either it trickles down into the soil with the pesticide, with the fertilizer, go into the water system that is underground, right? Or it actually runs straight into the river, right? It goes into the river, and you will say that you are a vegetarian, you do not consume, right? Now, the pesticide and the fertilizer is more dangerous than the pesticide and the fertilizer, to a great extent, is more dangerous than the steroids or the hormones that are used on fish farms, right? These are things that will practically kill you in a shorter period of time than the steroids and the hormones that is fed to the fish and fish farm. So in Jamaica, there's a term that says, anywhere you turn, Maka juke you. That simple mean, no matter what you say, we do so as to stay healthy, there is always something there to say, listen, it is impossible. Right? Now, I am a man who go to church. I believe in God. Right? And it's because this world have so much sin and so many evil within it, you will never ever find purity in nothing that exists on this earth. Well, probably I might lose subscribers or viewers because I said that, but you're not here, not there with me. I speak my mind, right? The fact is, right, that because of sin, because evil exists, you're going to still find a worm eating an apple, right? You're going to still find man trying to get plants to grow and reproduce within a short period of time, because based on research, it is said that humankind will lose, or should I say, humankind will not be able to feed themselves after 50 years. Right? Next 50 years, we won't have any food on the planet Earth so as to sustain us. It is said that in Earth, 100% natural. Right? It is said, right, that you know, but thirsty rabbit, you know, that really and truly it is impossible to go 100% natural. And I can share you the reason why I can't go 100% natural, right? One of the reasons why I can't go 100% natural is that once you have remnants of industrialization occurring anywhere at all in the world, you can't go natural. Why? All right, so you have a factory, and the factory burns fumes. The fumes is sent up into the air. The fumes sent up into the air, you have different gases in the air, right? Rain fall, and the rain actually mixes with those gases, right? And those gases become liquid type of acid. And it falls on the soil, fall on the plant, fall on the vegetation, fall in the water, and it makes what was there that was purified no longer purified. So in a sense, it's like, you know, you're trying the very best. It's very good when you can take in small amount, right? Yes, that's true. That's what I'm aiming for too, right? But I'm not gonna kill myself. I'm not gonna knock myself to say that, listen, I cannot get any 100% natural stuff, so therefore I'm not going to consume anything, right? That is like neither, does not rise. All right. So I spoken about the whole idea of pesticide and fertilizer, right? Pesticides and fertilizer also affects the natural life that we live. Your pak chow, your lettuce, your tomato, your onion, your escallion, the thyme, all those natural seasoning, all those natural herbs and those things that you actually consume, right, is affected by way of life. Because, you know, humans tend to want to get things done quickly. The whole idea of wait is no longer in our vocabulary. We seek to get we seek to want to get to the no, the N-O-W. No, we want things now. We want to grow our YouTube channel. No, we want to get 100,000 subscribers. No, we want to make a lot of money. No, but a lot of persons are not diligent in actually taking the time, like Thirsty Rabbit, Lunatic Fringe, myself, and all those individuals to spend time to actually look at what you're actually doing as to your audience, looking at the analytics, looking at the daily report, looking at all that, so as to grow what you deem as, you know, your channel. Yes, that's true, my brother. That's true. Exactly, my boss. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Exactly, right? The writing is on the wall, right? That we have become so industrialized in this world that we are actually slowly poisoning ourselves. That very soon We are walking up and down. We are walking up and down with face masks because we do not want the coronavirus. We do not want to catch the coronavirus. We have the face mask. But very soon, if you play games and you play like the apocalyptic games and you watch shows that tells you about the future, you will see people walking up and down on planet Earth with some weird looking masks because the air that they are breathing, like 2050, 2063, 2077, you know, these movies that we watch, we realize that it is like it's pointing to a direction. So listen, we are slowly poisoning our environment. Adding steroids and hormones are bad, but there are also other issues that are even worse that is coming, that practically persons have actually welcomed over the years, that have not been you know, paid specially attention to by generation past. And generation today, the only thing they are concerned about is just living. Now, the idea of using steroids might be looked upon as a vice. You know, respected fish breeders throughout the world consider the following. They want to ensure that the fish color up, right? They want to ensure that the fish get huge very quickly. They want to ensure that the fish produce, right? So you have different steroids that enhances reproduction. Points to note, did you know that some persons say that they are purists, but at the same time, just like how we consume omega-3, vegetarians, you know, you have some persons, they say that they are vegetarians, but at the same time they are taking supplements, and these supplements come from animals, right, such as fish oil. Right? Omega-3 comes from fish oil, sorry, gas. Just eat some crackers and let the crackers are well from the stomach now, I push out the gas. So sorry about that, right? So some persons, they won't consume the fish, but they will consume the oil that comes from the fish, and they will consume the omega-3 that is made from the fish, right? So strange, right? Indeed. So a lot of corns, as raw as they come, lunatic fringe, you pluck off 2 grain and you plant them in the back of your yard, they can't grow because they are so laced with GMO, they are so laced with genetic modification that they themselves can't grow. And according to scientists, there's gonna come a time where it's for you to actually have your farm producing, you're gonna have to buy the seeds from special companies that produces these seeds. So therefore, the whole idea of you getting 2 grain of corn, 2 grain of peas, 2 grain of wheat, and actually planting for yourself, it's gonna be like no more. You're gonna have to go to these large corporations, buy the seeds, and go out and plant them. And when these seeds grow and the trees grow and you read them, you're gonna have to go back again and buy more. So you can't be using the seeds from the seeds of the plants that you plant because too much genetics manipulation in that. Yes, that's true. Yes, exactly was. And for some persons to actually reject taking seeds from certain companies, that means their farm will either die a natural death, or they will end up in so much debt that they will end up having to sell their farms, you know, so as to manage the debt in which they have. And persons coming on now will end up go back to the original deal where they actually buy the seeds from these large companies, so as to ensure that you know, they get production going. All right, so a point to note: us as fish keepers, farmers, breeders, traders, hobbyists, we say that we are against the whole idea of using steroids and hormones within our aquariums, right, guys? But do you know that a lot of the meds, the medications that you actually feed your fish are practically steroids and hormones. A lot of these medications are practically steroids, hormones that have been designed using probably special hormone so as to counteract with any bacterial infection. And you might say that, yeah, hey, I am a fanatic as far as watching the series House, right? And I've seen where it's several cases. I've seen where it's several cases actually came up where they had to use steroids so as to treat several ailments. Same too with keeping ornamental fish stock. Now, if you speak about repopulation of our native fish species, right? Exactly, man. If you use fish meds, right? When hungry lick you can't eat the fish because the fish is so full of hormones and steroids. You consuming them, my word. It's like you're taking someone steroids yourself. It's like you're becoming a junkie overnight, right? So when let's talk about the whole idea of repopulating. Yeah, that's true. A lot of cornmeal that gives it the color, and also fish cuttings. I don't know how they do it so good, but they actually grind up the fish cuttings. I mean, like the fish head. You know, like in Jamaica, you have persons who actually sell fish head, right? So what they do in producing the fish food, they actually grind up the fish head in something looking like powder. And they would add the cornmeal to it, they would add some other stuff to it, they grind it up like powder. It look like flour, right? And then hey, what about my boss? What about ultimate? Big up yourself, my boss. Nice seeing you. We're talking about steroids and hormones with the fish, right? Some, as I said before, some fish species intentionally and unintentionally have actually been given steroids, hormones. My boss, I'll take it out as soon as I finish here. Good. All right, cool. All right, so intentionally and unintentionally, we as fish keepers, including myself, right? Because I have fish, I've given meds to, but you know, it is after actually looking at this, because you know, each presentation, each time when I actually talk on a Saturday night, I have to really dig deep. I have to really ensure that I know my stuff in actually sharing it to my audience. So therefore, I ensure that I read up on the different areas and I come to you to actually share in the discussion. But it wasn't until I actually sat and I've actually looked at the document as to what I'm actually going to be presenting, what I'm actually going to be sharing with you, that I realized that inadvertently I have been actually feeding my fish steroids, hormones over the years, right? And you know, I have to actually change my direction as to how I go about certain things, right? Bear in mind that steroids and hormones, for those persons who consume tilapia, right, fish, right, steroids, and the hormones used to feed tilapia, it damages your muscles, your liver, and it affects your blood pressure and your heart rate, right? So it's important for you to know that. But you see, as somebody said before, it's a heavy business, and a lot of persons are actually, what do you call it now? They are actually cautioned in actually sharing all this information, because it means, boss, it means that a lot of companies will actually go out of business if person really spend the time to look at you know, what goes in the meal and what they're actually consuming. one of the reasons why a lot of persons are living a very short life these days is because they're actually consuming stuff that should not be consumed, right? They are actually consuming food that is not fit for consumption. Another reason why these agencies that are set about so as to ensure that things are done properly and ethically so as to guide against the health of humankind. One of the reasons why some of these companies are not out there letting persons know about the information, right, as to what are some of the implications of these chemicals if consumed. One of the reasons why is that, one, right, it is said that the world's population will reach 9 billion in a few years' time, and that the world will not be able to sustain itself as far as resources is concerned. Thus, the world needs to get rid of 2 billion people in a short period of time, right? That's just a theory. A lot of persons are actually probably, I don't know if persons might right, but headspace good, but this is what they are saying, right? But anyway, a lot of conspiracy theory out there and all that. But right now, what I know is a lot of persons are dying from cancer, from issues that normally older person like in the 80s and the 90s usually have, right? And all of that is attributed to the food, the processed food that are being sold in markets, supermarkets, wholesale, on the shelf. Persons are not really looking at what they are actually consuming. All right, so it has been, tell you the truth, the fan is blowing on me, window is open, the area is well ventilated, and I'm sweating because, trust me, this topic is heavy, guys. This topic is really heavy. It got me thinking a lot. It got me reasoning with myself as to whether or not I want to still remain a lacto vegetarian. I should just go and just consume chicken because, practically, as far as being a vegetarian or lacto vegetarian is concerned, some of the things that you actually consume, right? So many things that I actually consume so as to supplement actually comes from animals themselves. So does it really make sense that you're avoiding the raw meat, but at the same time, it is the meat that you actually get some of the supplements for. For example, some persons might say that they don't eat pork, but at the same time they are diabetic and they have to actually inject themselves with insulin. And the insulin is actually from pork, or should I say pig, right? Ini test rabbit. Okay, boss. Okay, Ranjit. Oh, okay. Right. You see what I'm saying? So you have to you have to measure as to what is healthy and what is not. Right? Persons use steroids so as to get the fish looking. Hey, a lot of the fish shows that they have. Like you see some huge fish, pretty fish, colorful fish being on display, right? The fish shows, like contests. These fish have been fed steroids. And one thing I've realized is that these the judges, they don't really test the fish to see whether or not the fish is actually on steroids. Why is it that the fish looks so husky, right? And so there's a lot of disparity as to who is the best fish keeper, trader, groomer, or whatever you call it. Now, it has come to the end of another stream. And I appreciate you all for being here. Right, Ruan J, Thirst Rabbit, Lunatic Fringe, Little Local for Fish, right? To name don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, guys. But thank you very much for stopping by. Have a wonderful day. Big up yourself, boss. Appreciate you all for being here. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.